Once again, good evening and good morning to all of you. Welcome to our November activity with the Stories of Hope, a panel discussion on Southeast Asian women and youth in the labor movement. My name is Dinda. I'm representing the Trade Union Rights Center. It's very happy to welcome all of you in today's event. I would like to begin with a reminder that in order to increase the solidarity between the labor network in South and Southeast Asia, Trade Union Rights Center, as the facilitating organizations from DGB Bildungswerk Germany, has initiated and hosted several kinds of activities with the themes that are always related to the importance of increasing the role and leadership of women and young workers in the trade unions, as well as to respond to several labor issues happening at the moment. Before we begin with the context today, I would like to ask everyone's favor to mute their microphone during the panel session in order to make the discussion running well. Should you have any questions to the panelists during our conversation, please do not hesitate to ask in the chat box and I will go through it one by one during our Q&A session. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, we all know that for almost a full year, COVID-19 has tested the limits of human resilience, impacting education, economic opportunities, access to resources, health, and also the overall well-being. No one has not been affected by these, either small or big, either physically or mentally. We are all trying to survive. In spite of the odds, nearly all of us choose to continue fighting, no matter how slim the chances are to win. Also, the same is done by women and youth leaders in the labor movement. Despite being one of the most affected group by this pandemic, these women and youth leaders are taking advantage of their remaining energy to consistently fighting for the rights of workers as COVID-19 threatened to destabilize their lives. With their core beliefs and commitment, combined with the skills that embedded through the projects and interventions, these women and youth leaders march on. With the world changing so drastically, we believe that we have the unique opportunity to shape the future of work that we deserve. Thus, today, we have invited women and youth leaders from across Southeast Asia to be here with us to share about their actions and efforts to protect workers' rights during the pandemic, their struggles and victories, and also their main learnings for the future. And now I would like to introduce all of you to four of the panelists that we have today. First, I would like to begin with M.A. Celerina Marmel Caldera, or we can call her Sister Marmel. Hello, Sister Marmel. Can you please uh, wave your hand to the others? Hi, Sister. So, Sister Marmel is from the PSI Philippines. She is now the legal researcher in Iloilo Provincial Government. I hope I don't pronounce it wrong. She is also the youth representative in Asian Services Employees Trade Union Council Youth Summit in August 2018, the representative of the Future of Work Sub-Regional Conference in Bangkok, Thailand in September 2018, which is conducted by the International Labour Organization. She is also the representative in the Future of Work Turin, Italy in December 2018, conducted also by ILO. A youth representative in DGB Young Workers Program in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, Malaysia in August 2019. A youth representative in the 14th PSI Asia Pacific Regional Conference in Bali, Indonesia in September 2018. And also the DGB Young Workers Leadership Training in Iloilo, Philippines in November 2020. Hello, sister. It's really nice to have you today. And second of all, we have Brother Melvin Ebin Bondi, or we can call him Brother Melvin. He is now in Sabah Medical Services Union, a union that compromises of all the healthcare workers in Sabah, East Malaysia, with more than 8,000 members, including doctors, assistant medical officers, nurses, and all allied healthcare workers. He is also in the Public Services International, or PSI. He is now working as an assistant medical officer, or physician associate. So he is the frontliner, the hero of all this time. And his experience in the unions are very amazing. Some of them are he is the youth leader in Sabah Medical Service Union. He is also the Deputy General Secretary of Sabah Medical Services Union, an education officer, Congress of Unions of Employees in the Public Civil Services Sabah, Malaysia, a PSI Youth Representative of Malaysia, and last but not least, is the co-chair of Male Young Worker in the PSI Sub-Regional Advisory Committee for Southeast Asia. The third one, we have Sister Intan Indria Dewi, or Sister Intan from Indonesia. She is the chairman of the Provincial Council Banten National Trade Union, or SPN, affiliates of the ITUCAP. She has been actively involved in the National Trade Union since 2009 and had become the head of Women and Children Empowerment Division in the plant-level National Trade Union in Nikomas, Gemilang. She has attended many capacity and knowledge building workshop and training in local, national, and regional level, ranging from the issue of protection of women workers, gender, corporate research training, and many others. Last but not least, we have Sister Ray Millie Rose Arta Ana, or we can call her Sister Rem. She is from the National Trade Union Center of the Philippines, affiliates of the ITUCAP. She is now working as a college teacher and guidance counselor in a state university, also a public relations officer of the Faculty Association of the University Result System Local Union, Luzon Regional Chairperson for Tertiary and Technical Vocational Education of the Teachers Organizations of the Philippine Public Sector, and also the Regional Chair for Luzon of the Women's Committee of the NTUC Philippines. Once again, I would like to express my highest excitement and gratitude, and want to thank all of the panelists for your availability amidst your very, very busy schedule for attending discussion today. I really hope that we will have a great discussion time. So today, everyone, we would like to discuss the important role that they have invested during this hard time. And maybe without further ado, I will continue our session by asking the first question, maybe to our female leaders in the trade union. I will start with Sister Marmel. Hello, Sister Mel. Hello. I see you are kind of lagging a little bit. Hello.
Yeah, I think Sister Marmel have a problem with the connection.
Yes, I think so too. Hello, Sister Marmel. Oh, okay. Maybe in order for us to wait for Sister Marmel to stabilize her connection, maybe I will ask first Sister Intan, which is very relatable as one of the uh, young women leader in the trade union. Because I believe everyone here is very curious about your experience as a young woman leader in the trade union during this COVID-19 pandemic, I believe that we have faced many challenges, and we are successfully overcoming somehow. And Sister Intan, can you please share us about your experience about facing the COVID-19 pandemic as the leader? And please, Sister, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sister Dinda, for giving the floor. And maybe before I starting my presentation or sharing about the my experiences to facing the pandemic COVID-19, maybe I want to introduce again myself because you know that Sister Dinda already told you about I'm the chairman of the SPN or National Trade Union Federation in the province of Banten. That Trade Union Federation in national have 300 and 300,000 members in a national level, and for province of Banten we have 100,000 members in the Banten province especially. But because of the pandemic COVID-19 already reducing our member. It's about to 20,000, yeah, 20,000 members, and it's a very a huge number that we losing our member. That but we have to facing it. And before that I want to share about how we organizing or how we keep our struggle in this pandemic. One of them is we still have a number of like a focus group discussion with our member during this pandemic, like of Zoom meeting, and also we still have like a little bit activity to support each other. We make any video to keep our member productive, and also we make a video to make some campaign like a gender-based violence campaigns, and also to make like a campaign about omnibus law. That you know, the omnibus law is very degrading our right in Indonesia, and the government is like closing their eye to keep the omnibus law in to put in our law. And then maybe Sister Dinda can share the video before I continue my presentation, the video
Sure.
that I was made with my team. Thank you.
Okay, I will start sharing it now.
The video is in Bahasa, but I already put the translation for you in English.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Hang on. Can all of you see my screen now? I hope the audio will working.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Intan Indria Dewi, Ketua DPD SPN Provinsi Banten, mengajak kepada seluruh buruh, pekerja, dan masyarakat di Provinsi Banten, serta mahasiswa dan juga para akademisi untuk melakukan pergerakan, perlawanan, dan penolakan terhadap Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja yang mana tidak pro terhadap buruh dan menyengsarakan seluruh rakyat Indonesia.
Wow, that's amazing, sister.
Yeah, thank you, Sister Dinda. Thank you. The another one is not to be able, right, to show, or it's okay, or it's available to show, Sister Dinda.
Still have trouble to download it because of the
The
size, but
another
absolutely,
the
yeah, the
oh, okay,
3 minute video,
okay,
right, about the gender-based violence in workplace.
yes,
But
yeah.
yes, I
I
believe
still
we
have
can share the
another
link.
video. It's about a campaign about, yeah, the ratification of the Convention 1 and 90, and that we made to celebrate 1 year's convention 190 already signed, but Indonesia still not ratified it yet. So the another video is we made about the campaign to Indonesia to ratify the convention 1 and 90, and we made the video with the Women and Youth Committee in SPN in province of Banten. And the video that you saw before is my campaign to fight the omnibus law, because yeah, that I told you before, it's very bad, and but the government still push to put the omnibus law as the law in Indonesia. And the video that I will share, and maybe next Sister Dinda will show the video in the 3 minutes maybe, but because of some trouble of the download, maybe we can see it later. Yeah. And why I made the video, because you know that because of the COVID-19, we cannot see each other by face-to-face meeting. So I try to use the technology like the video that you saw before. It's I made the video in the radio, and I have some workshop, and I do some talk show in the radio to keep our campaign about the omnibus law, and also the gender-based violence by the radio, and also by the TV, the online TV, or TV cable, something like that. So we use we use the technology to facing and keep the organizing during the pandemic. And some video some video to use like a gender-based violence when for now is because of the pandemic, a lot of women and youth is have an effect about that. And then a lot of them also be the victim of the GBV. So we make some video to support them, to make them to believe that they are not alone in this world of work. So we are here to uh, with them to facing this pandemic, to facing the gender-based violence and harassment. We are here, and we are want to help them. So please, if you have like you are a victim of the GBV, please don't be silent. Speak up, so we can do anything for you and do advocacy for you. And also uh, we also made like a curriculum and syllabus with some video, another video, but I cannot show you in this time. Maybe that's from me, Sister Dinda. Thank you.
Okay, Sister Intan, it's really nice to hear that you are still standing strong with also the rest of your members in facing this very difficult time. Together we can fight this all, right? And I don't know, maybe Sister Marmel is fixing her connection already. Can we hear? Ah,
Hi, Sister Linda. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
yes, loud and clear. Okay, Sister Marmel, it's still
Yeah.
same questions as I asked
The
to
stable,
Sister.
the internet connection here in the Philippines is not as stable. Yeah.
I see, I see. Same here goes in Indonesia as well. But well, okay, we are trying our best to stay connected somehow. And maybe Sister Marmel, since it is also the very first time I met you, and maybe some of us is also experiencing the same thing as well, can you please tell us more about your experience, the challenges, and what strategy did you use to overcome those challenges, sister?
It's actually my third year only as a unionist. I wasn't exposed prior my entry to the government service. I was not able to understand what unionism is, most especially public sector unionism. So there is a notion here in the Philippines that if you're a unionist, you'll be red tagged, which is actually the problem right now here in the Philippines. There is already a law passed, the anti-terrorism law, which can easily red tag you as as working against the government. So I think that's one of the disadvantages of being a unionist right now here in the Philippines. You'll be easily targeted by the government by the use of that law. Frankly, during this pandemic, Philippines is not doing good. As of yesterday, we have recorded COVID case of more than 420,000 already, and and with more than 8,000 deaths. Uh, the government accumulated a lot of loans in order for them to allegedly answer the basic needs of the people during the pandemic, but to no avail. I think the government is still yet to come up with better ideas to address the issues on providing and protecting our frontliners here in the Philippines. Uh, I was given a chance to talk to ILO in a convention which was held last March, I think 2020, that was before the lockdown. And they said that Philippines is very lucky geographic wise because we are composed of islands. We are in archipelago, so it's easier for us to lock down a certain island if such island was infected. But right now, I don't think that that worked for our advantage. I think we placed the first number one with most recorded COVID cases in Southeast Asia for 2 months. I think Philippines and Indonesia are competing with each other when it comes to that, and I think that's very sad. So I think from August, yeah, I can confirm from August and to October 15, we Philippines is number one when it comes to COVID-19 cases, and the union, one of the major problems the union is facing right now uh, will surely be the lack of the face-to-face interaction between the members. Of course, surely we all have the online platforms right now, but nothing can replace the fact that organizing, discussing, and even reaching out to union members and leaders are actually not that effective as compared to face-to-face interaction. And I would very want to share it with you that because of the law which I previously mentioned, which was passed, it can be used as a disadvantage for us unionists, especially for us working in the government. We could immediately be scolded by our bosses and our supervisors, because in the first place we're working for the government. Then why bother questioning them in the first place if you're working from the government? But we hope that we could see future amendments with regard to that. As a young unionist and as a member of the youth committee and most of in our unions, and actually as a representative of the PSI in international uh, activities when it comes to youth, I fear that the law might actually be a possible deterrent to those who would want for those youth who would want to enter or to join unions. So that's all, I think, sister.
Sister Mel, thank you so much for your explanations. Before this conversation is begin, I also have a short chat with Sister Mel where she sent me several very interesting photos that I believe happening during this COVID period that maybe we can share to
I,
all of you, and Sister
yes.
Mel can tell us.
Thank you, Sister Linda. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Actually, there was a massive increase despite the passage of the law. There was a massive. I think Sister Linda will show you some pictures. That despite the pandemic, I would like to highlight the fact that there was an increase uh, of youth members in the union. I think this was highlighted by the fact that they were informed of the importance of the union, and they saw how effective the union is in addressing not only union matters but also issues that are relevant in the country, which in one way or another may affect labor costs. I think one of the issues being highlighted in the programs of the union, which actually attracted the youth to join union, was the globalization, the issues on climate change, issues on gender equality. So, as one of the women members of the board of directors of our local union, together with the other female members of the board, we really made sure to incorporate these activities for gender equality and anti-violence against women and children programs as the core programs of our union. We are actually, Sister Dinda, we are actually very pleased that majority of our male members, or if not all, they actually pledged to commence a group called Men Opposed to Violence Against Women. And for us, that was one of the successful news the union got, where in male members of the union acknowledge that they have a bigger role to play in eliminating the incidents of violence against women, and that they actively joined in the continued campaign for gender equality. As a young woman unionist, Sister Linda, this the acknowledgement and the recognition of our men members to campaign for gender equality and the campaign for the elimination of violence against women and children opened my eyes not only to focus the activities and to exclude men, but also to encourage them and to be more inclusive when it comes to activities which forward gender equality and violence against women and children program. So I think that's one of the major activities which we focused on during this pandemic. PSI together with the DGB also sponsored an activity last November 2020 wherein we meet face to face. I think these are the pictures shown by Sister Dinda, uh, wherein we were able to invite frontliners, youth members, in order for them to join in the union leadership training, and they participated very well. This highlighted the fact that they were not able to attend any activities or trainings during the pandemic, and they were all excited to come back into that kind of venue and setup where they will be able to learn uh, personally and from face to face and with interaction with some other um, delegates. So I think the message of the TURC on you appreciate only the stars when it gets darker is uh very timely, because as union leaders or as union members, as a youth unionist, you take advantage of everything that was offered to you before the pandemic, and that I think the and that you forget that you have all the opportunities. But right now, as we are going back, slowly going back to normal, as they say, we acknowledge the fact that we should be very grateful, and we look for a better uh better activities for and programs for the union to develop. Sister Linda, that's all.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute my mic. Okay, thank you very much, Sister Mel. I believe that we can still have many conversation on this, but personally, I'm very happy to hear that many of the male members are now more gender sensitive and opposing the sexual harassment. I hope that spirit can also uh, well spread in Indonesia as well, hopefully.
We, we, we hope so
Uh,
all around the globe. Thank you, Sister Dinda.
Yeah, you are very welcome. And maybe next, before we go to Brother Melvin, as the only male, young male panelist for today, I would like to go for Sister Rem to tell us a little bit more about your challenges and your achievements in organizing the young workers, and especially you are actively involved in the women in voicing the welfare of the women workers as well. Can you please share your experience with us, Sister Ram?
Yes, am I loud and clear, Sister Dinda?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Aside from my introduction earlier, I would also like to highlight that where I am coming from. So at the micro level, I'm part of the local union, as well in the national level, a center and a federation of teachers. And aside from that, I'm also a solo parent. Let me just give you a sort of a background about how many we are at currently. So at the State University, we are actually 1,000 teachers and non-teaching staff with 10 campuses or locations in Rizal Province, which is very near Luzon. Luzon is the biggest island in the Philippines, where the National Government Center and our National Trade Union Center is also located. Presently, we have around 20,000 students enrolled. Because of the pandemic, a lot of our private school students moved into the public sector or the public school so that they could save money instead because we have free tuition fee in the public school in the tertiary level. So as also a part of the Federation of Teachers, we have around 7,000 members who I think I just invited them earlier this morning, but I believe they all are really very interested and committed into doing trade union initiatives. That's why I must say a lot of them are here listening. Thank you so much for joining us today. And the National Center, on the other hand, has 80 national federations with members in all industries, including agriculture industry and other services. We also have workers in the informal economy, like migrant workers, like helpers, household and domestic workers. So with that, the responsibility that we are actually doing at the local, union, federation level and national center has become more overwhelming than before because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Um, I have some issues or concerns about as a solo parent, caring and protecting my family. We have so many lockdowns, quarantines, and the abnormal, which is already the normal, maintaining of the household, going to market and household chores. Also, we are required to report for work because aside from as a teacher, I'm also a guidance counselor. So the risk of going to and back from work is really high. And we also have COVID-19 patients housed in one of our buildings in our university. So the occupational and safety standards are really one of the primary concerns of the local union as well as the federation and the national center. There are so many challenges, including the online teaching, ensuring that the students or the learners are really learning, getting quality education despite the limitations of not doing it face to face, but via one of these platforms. Also, as was said, also the manner of conducting meetings and seminars has also changed. It has also been difficult for us. So what we did at our level is to have group pages in the social media using Facebook Messenger, Twitter, website, um, so that we could reach out to more teachers all over the country, not only in Luzon, and so that they could also attend meetings or sharings like this, which is very important now in this time of the pandemic. Um, what else? So aside from that, uh, we have a lot of inquiries about workers losing their jobs, workers not having enough social protection, um, um, uh, and companies violating the occupational and safety standards by the government. And these are all issues that we need to address. So we started already doing written letters for the ratification of the ILO Convention 190, which is the against violence and harassment in the workplace, so that we could already move more intensively into the protection of all sorts of violence, not only on women and youth. But sadly also, our graduates have finding it hard to find jobs because of the pandemic. So what else? So with that, I know this year 2020 has been a very rough year for all of us, especially to the trade union movement. But we are still hoping that, and we are not going to stand down. We are going to stand up and do everything that we can, no matter how little, no matter how small, on how we could protect our workers. So with that, we started giving, let me see. Some projects that we have is the training of teachers, parents, and students on the online platforms, contribution to those teachers who has lost their jobs, especially those who are in the contractual and part-time level, financial assistance to our faculty also, who will be infected by the COVID-19. And then we already set out the provision for laptops or computers through loans so that the interest is very small so that they could also adapt in the technology. So currently, there are some initiatives also for the food distribution and feeding program for families in the different communities. And let me also highlight that through the Heart Start organization, which is also a partner of the Teachers Organization of the Philippine Public Sector, we have already been able to communicate with our indigenous peoples communities. What made it quite, for lack of term, at some point it could be hopeless, but at some point there is this desperation also, because we already have the COVID-19, and we also have in the Philippines 3 typhoons, the Quinta, the Rolly, and the Ulysses, which has really gravely affected our teachers, students, families, and the communities in the Luzon area. So a lot of collaboration. What we call it here in the Philippines bayanihan, helping one another in English. Whether you are a teacher, a parent, a student, we can do our part, no, in helping each other become more resilient, bounce back from all these adversities. And because we live in communities, we have to be more solidify, not only with workers and other unions, but with every member of our community. And so with that, my story of hope is his story, is also her story, is also your story, and it is also our story. Our story of hope may not be possible without each and every one of us working together. So let's start even one small step at a time in order to have a better, decent future of work for each one of us. Thank you.
Wow. Sister your last words really warms my heart, you know.
Thank you.
But maybe I can share a little bit also when we are talking about collaboration, you know. In this difficult time, uh, working together, as mentioned,
Hey,
is
Binda, there's
really,
some disturbance from your mic, I think.
it's from, sorry, it's from Brother Melvin. Sorry, brother, I have to mute you for a second. Okay. Well, working together not only with the trade unions and labor organizations, the initiatives are emerging. Working together also with the art workers and also the women community, informal workers group, and everything else. They built some kind like a safety net conversation platform, just a simple one using WhatsApp. But through that platform, we can share our struggle, our story, and our main learnings for the future as well, so that we can help each other better in facing this together. And I believe that many of the initiatives, interesting one that we've never done before, will emerge soon again as the world is now starting to get better, I hope. And I would go to Brother Melvin because we heard that Sister Ram mentioned about depression. I mean, desperation. And I don't know if we are just like a normal working people are feel very depressed just by going through these very hard days. I cannot believe how it feels to be the frontliners workers. And not only that, the mental health issues, mental well-being is very popular nowadays. I believe that it's also a very relevant issues that maybe you are discussing among your members and your trade unions. Maybe Brother Melvin, you can also share with us your experience, but also stressing out the mental health aspects. Like, do you have any specific programs, maybe through the helps of the DGB Bildungswerk, that are promoting the mental well-being for the frontliners workers, Brother Melvin?
Hello, solidary greetings, my dear sisters and brothers in union. Am I loud and clear? Because it is currently raining here. All
It's
right.
not
So,
very clear. If you could speak up a little bit, if you could just
okay.
speak up a little bit, yeah.
All right. So, okay. Let me start my sharing with those powerful words again from the Martin Junior. Only when it is dark can you see the stars. So yes, indeed, in this unprecedented pandemic, which has put humankind to the as a test of staying alive. Working as a medical frontliner is already a challenging job because we have to deal with life and death. And the emerging of this pandemic, somewhere in November last year, um, has shocked the world because no one thought that this was coming. It caught everyone flat-footed without any adequate preparations and strategies to deal with this pandemic. We did not have clear guidelines on what to do in the beginning um, um, of the pandemic, and it was all confusions as we have never experienced such catastrophic pandemic before. And for your information, to date, the number of active cases documented in Malaysia is 14,353 with 341 number of deaths. And it is quite devastating because never before had we seen such a concerted global effort in trying to find an effective vaccine to put our lives back in order, albeit in this new normal. So as we talk, we understand that there are a few vaccines, such as Pfizer and Moderna, are already on the verge of mass productions and seeking FDA approval. So let's hope and pray that no one shall be deprived of these vaccines. And in addition to that, healthcare workers being infected and quarantined pose a significant challenge, with which further strained the already exhausted, devastated, and shrinking workforce. So the healthcare workers are exposed to a high risk of being infected with this virus COVID-19. So therefore, appropriate personal protective equipment is a must. But unfortunately, when all these PPEs are not readily available due to the delays in procurements and supplies, it can cause anxiety, especially healthcare professionals, because we are insecure of treating the patients. We are not sure that which one of the patients is infected or having this COVID. So um, I myself have been placed under home quarantine for 3 occasions um, after having contacted with COVID-19 patient during, sorry. All right, so um, um, again, I myself have been placed under home quarantine after 3 occasions after having contacted with a positive COVID patient. And during those quarantine times, my mental health was really affected. I had this anxiety, stress, fear, and the list goes on because I'm worried. Because what if I am infected? What about my other frontliners? Would they be able to work? Because now we are having a shortage of staff, and yet another healthcare worker is being quarantined. So these things are actually keep coming in my mind. So I am really actually really worried during those times. But luckily, after receiving my negative PCR results, I was allowed back to work. And furthermore, working towards ensuring the health, safety, and also mental health of our colleagues, as well as the patients under our care in facing this new pandemic, environment has brought out the best in all of the healthcare workers. Having said that, albeit the fact that we are fatigued, we are having inadequate supplies of the PPEs, being stretched to the limit because we have to combat this continuous surge of the COVID cases. We have to work extra hours, 12 hours a day, or even 24 hours directly. And there were times that we have to, and also our annual leave were also frozen. But never before that there had been such a high level of solidarity amongst all of these healthcare workers trying to flatten the curve and the fellow frontliners. So speaking of mental health, most of the patients who have this mental health is because of the three basic components of which is stress, anxiety, and also depressions. If not addressed as soon as possible, if not treated as soon as possible, it could actually lead to a serious mental problem. And as we've seen on the news, they have few number of cases reported that people committed suicide. They jump off from the buildings because of this mental health. There was actually stigma is also a problem. I think not only in Malaysia but also in the other countries where people tend to blame those positive patients because they blame them because they were the carrier or they transmit the disease to the other people. So this stigma actually one of the predisposing factors that could actually lead to depressions or stress and lead to a serious mental health. And as for the healthcare workers, when you have not enough rest, you have to work extra hours. It could actually lead to severe fatigue, and which led to burnout. But in Malaysia, the Ministry of Health has actually implemented this psychosocial mental health and psychosocial support program, which it actually helps all these infected patients and also the healthcare workers through telephones or a teleco conference to help them to try to understand what the problems they are facing, especially related to this mental health. And through this program also, we also send them infographic through WhatsApp. And for those patients who are being quarantined in the ward, we do provide some sort of entertainment for them, because being quarantined, being locked down for a number of days, 14 days or more, could be depriving your mental health status. So what we did here is that we gather all the patients at the quarantine center, and we do a little bit of exercises with them. We ask them to sing, but of course with full PPE. So that was really one of the great way to trying to help all these patients so that their mental health is being it's deteriorating. And despite the need of to work together to flatten the curve, there's also a need to look up to a team leader. My exposure in an experience in the trade union has taught me to be a resilient leader in maintaining a positive attitude, using effective communications to learn, hear and listen to all of the members, and also from the young workers in facing these challenges arising from this unprecedented pandemic. So that was the experience working as a frontliner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Melvin. We are very salute for your dedication in uh, fighting together with all the frontliners workers fighting this pandemic. So proud. Anyway, talking about being in a full PPE, I once saw in the Instagram that some of the doctors who are in shift in the quarantine places are somehow writing an encouragement message on their PPEs for the patients, like, you can do this, get well soon, let's fight it together, and something like that. I think, I don't know whether it is also happening in Malaysia also or not, but I think that simple yet kind gesture like that can somehow be a motivation for the patients, especially when they cannot even meet their families or the loved ones during their quarantine time.
Yes. Yes. Uh, um, I think in across Southeast Asia, we do have that sort of campaign to educate or to inform all of the people in our country to sort of stay strong, stay positive. And I would actually wanted to share a poster or a picture that we have done, but I think maybe um, during the end of this session.
Okay, sure. Just let me know, message me when you want to share it, okay?
All right.
Uh, all right. Thank you so much again, Brother Melvin, for your explanation. I actually have a further questions about the interesting part that mentioned by Sister Marmel about the increasing number of participations in the union, especially for the youth during this very hard time. Because if I'm not mistaken, it is because of the political education given to the youth workers. Maybe Sister Marmel, you can also explain a little bit more detail in some kind of a program, a recruitment program in making union more interesting for the young workers, because I believe that for the years to come, many of us will include and have to include the inclusivity of young workers in our trade union activity. Sister Marmel? Hello?
Hello, can you
Yep.
hear me now? So I'm sorry. Okay,
Yes.
there you go. And your question, sister, is
Hello?
sorry, your question was caught in the middle. So can I hear the
Oh,
question again,
yes,
sister?
sure.
Okay.
Yes, sure. It's about the recruitment of the young workers in your unions, because you said that there is an increasing number during this COVID period, and also about giving them the political education so that they can feel related to be able to join the union. Maybe you can explain a little bit more detail to all of us on the recruitment program that you've been doing recently, so that maybe that we can adopt in the future to engage more with the more coming young workers in the trade unions.
Sister Linda, it is actually a chain effect. We actually utilize, we have 11 hospitals in our union. That's why we utilize those who are already members. And we use the social media platform, which invited those who are in the hospitals as well as in our main office in the province, which allowed them to talk to us, members of the board of directors, directly if they have any questions. So if you're a member, or even if you're not a member, you can ask the union has provided for a platform, online platform, wherein during the pandemic, you can air your sentiments, you can air your complaints, the excesses committed by the management, or any or lack of those during the pandemic. Uh, and aside from that, we incorporated that the benefits of being a part of the union, because if if they become a part of the union, they will have a greater voice which can be heard by the management. So I think first, the main purpose of the platform was actually to provide aid and protection to those members. But we opened the platform to include also the non-members, especially the youth. So by allowing them to ask questions to us and to represent them and to air their concerns with the management through the union, they see the importance of the union. I think that's the reason why. And or also, secondly, Sister Linda, uh, because of the pandemic right now, we cannot hold any successful organizing activities for those who are not members yet. But we focus on the causes of our union, like the campaign for the gender equality, the campaign for violence against women and children. We use the period during the pandemic as an opportunity to raise those issues, to always remind our members to observe the values which is being observed and which is being campaigned by the unions. And I think it affected the view of the youth members, of our young members, to the union, because they saw that it's not all about uh, our benefits, the advancement of our labor benefits. They saw that the union participated in other societal issues as well, and I think they got very attracted when it comes to that.
I see. I see. Thank you, Sister Marmel, for the highlight. I really
Thank
agree with
you,
you.
sister.
Yes, that it's not only about maybe a fair wage or something very practical written on the labor law about our welfare, but somehow it can also be a very relatable thing that happened to our daily lives that engage us in solidarity. Uh, Before I open the question and answer session for all the participants who attend this activity, I see some names uh, whom I believe it's lecturer and teachers as well who come to this discussion today. I would like to thank you for your dedications and also for your time in attending this event with us today. I somehow feel the struggle in waking up my nephew and niece to get up and do the online school, and I believe it's really really hard job for you to do, but your consistency in making sure that our younger generations can still be smart enough to receive the education, it's really really priceless. And nevertheless, I would like to ask if anyone's here have a questions to four of the panelists, and maybe also would like to share your experience in working with the young and women workers during this very hard time. You are very welcome to open your mic and share experience with us.
Dinda, can I ask something?
Sure, Sister Anna, sure.
Yeah, I have two questions. I'm very inspired by the stories we are hearing so far, and I would like to reflect on exactly on two things. One is reflecting from your experiences and the leadership style. I want to ask what is the type of leadership that is needed in order for us to restore people's faith and confidence, particularly young people in trade union movement. And the other one is more on a personal level because I really wanted to know who or what inspired you to do or continue what you're doing now. I think there are there are reasons, personal reasons to that, and there are probably people who kept inspiring you to step up and to push you along in your leadership journey. But I would really want to get some insights on your personal motivation. Why are you so amazing? Really? Yeah. Thank you, Dinda.
Thank you, Sister Anna. Okay. Without further ado, maybe who wants to answer first? I believe it's all for the four speakers, yeah?
Yeah, anyone. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Maybe we can start with Sister Rem.
Thank you, Sis Dinda. Sis Anna, your questions are really very challenging, as always, which we appreciate as trade union young leaders and young women leaders. Um, in terms of leadership styles or types, I think I have three very important core qualities that I usually that even when I started joining the union movement in 2014 is already very important, but it's more important now than before. The first is the commitment. When our members, when our colleagues also know that we are committed leaders, and we really know what we are doing. That's the second one. The direction, the vision is also very important as a leader. If we have the direction, if we know our goals, and if we know where we want to go, where we are now, and then that would help us step by step plan. First is to discuss, dialogue, and then plan, and then implement our action plans. And having the commitment also and the vision would lead us to having, as brother Melvin already said earlier, is it very important to listen. And by listening not only with what they are actually saying, but also listening to what they are not telling us, to what they are afraid to tell us, especially if it's about gender-based violence and safety and health protocols. And also the last one is consistency. We have to be consistent with what we're saying, with what we're thinking, with what we're feeling, what's inside us, and what we are doing. No, so I guess in terms of, I cannot exactly find the right word, but maybe it's more on authoritative rather than an authoritarian kind of leadership. And let me also answer the second one. Inspired to do what we're doing now. This is what I missed out earlier. I got emotional with the typhoon survivors. No, um, it has already been 1 year since I started the training with DGB BW, and that opportunity, um, in all honesty, helped me um, know the direction of how I would want our local union, our national center also, and our federation for teachers to move forward. And especially the old trade unionist, whether you are male or female, have inspired me, the former president of TOPS, the current honorary general secretary. These leaders actually inspired me to push the boundaries as written on the concept note. So, and of course, teachers and students will always be my inspiration in negotiating, bargaining for quality education and decent work for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Rem. Okay, next maybe we go to Brother Melvin for answering Sister Anna's question.
All right, so I think the most important thing is that a quality of the leader that we want is that resilient leadership. A leader should always be supposed to be positive, and then to take opportunity when times get hard, and being able to maintain a positive attitude and have a very good or rather effective communications, because we want to be able um, to listen, to learn and hear from our members what are their issues, and also to empower them, because sometimes our members might be maybe afraid to speak up, and that's if we actually show confident, and they would have this confident level to speak to us. So be a role model to our fellow youths or women, so that they would look up to us as a leader that is they would look up to, and this somehow actually also factors that could increase the memberships in our union too. And to answer the second questions, that what inspires which leaders that inspires, of course, our leaders, our presidents, and those who have this those who value or who give chance to these young workers or women to lead, or to be able to who trust us to be able to share ideas and put us in the executive boards, etc. So those with that qualities actually inspires me, or I think most of the leaders, to continue in this union. And well, Sister Dina, I do actually have a few other points that I forgot to mention, if I may add. All right, so there are also some challenges that I face in my country, and how I actually overcame all these challenges. The first one was, as we all know, that this pandemic has forced us to shift and adapt to new ways of living. We call it the new normal. And with regards to carrying out our usual activities, such as union activities, or also maybe at hospitals, in a totally new context. So suddenly everything is changed, and where our workplace brought new measures, where wearing face mask is mandatory, or having our temperature check is also compulsory before entering the building. So we have to implement, in our healthcare setting, we have to implement a staggered appointment system, in which that we want to reduce the number of patients coming in to the hospital or the clinic health. And virtual meetings are now being implemented, and most of our social events have changed, including our union activities. And it has been part of our tradition in the union that whenever we meet our brothers and sisters, we oftentimes shake hands or hugs each other. So that is a part of the challenges, because we believe that it's a part of respect. But as to live in this new normal, we cannot do that at for the time being. So adaptation to this new environment is would take time. Usually it takes time, but we have to accept the fact that this is the new way of living. And apart from that, in addition to providing the best practices and possible outcomes to the patients, recovery poses a major challenge when you're feeling powerless in handling this condition, because this is a new virus. So, and we have no experience in handling or managing this new virus, and it is vital for us to keep informed, to keep update with our knowledge, and from time to time. And I think there also a challenge that I face when organizing a union activities, where during this pandemic from last year since to this very date, that we have a very limited activities. And although the implementations of virtual meetings was widely used now, but there are still some areas with very poor connections of the internet. So, however, what we did was that we allow members to always text us or use a phone call or email as to reach to us, because we wanted to hear from them. Because we might not be able to travel to their provinces or districts, so we actually encourage them to write to us, and so that we could bring all these problems together to be highlighted or to make further actions, plan of action. So in our union, as Sabah Medical Services Union, we mostly organize meeting using a Zoom platform with our members of the frontliners and also the other supporting staff, covering all the health facilities in the state. And as a youth leader and also the exco of the union, I firmly believe that collective bargaining and sharing thoughts with the young workers and members are profound. And we did a lot of paperwork, surveys, mini research, and as well as collaborating with the Congress of the Union's employees in the public civil services Malaysia, and also the public services internationals, and also DGB, in highlighting those of the problems. And we are thankful enough that our Prime Minister here in Malaysia has given us a special COVID allowances for the eligible frontliners and stimulus package for the people. But despite the circular that that was announced by the government, there are still some employer who deny the right of those frontliners getting that COVID allowance. So what we did was that we discussed and made a press statement on the televisions, press release, that we wanted this to be, we wanted to reach a mutual win-win situations. We wanted, because we believe that all those frontliners are eligible to get that special allowance. And thankfully that we also fortunate that the NGO in our countries played their roles generously by contributing PPEs and various types of medical equipments needed to treat these COVID patients. So all of this active engagement with the members, the union is kept informed of all the problems, the struggles faced by all of our members from all over the districts, and we highlighted all these issues on the proposal to the, directly to the Ministry of Health. And our problem was also being highlighted at the local or national media through regular press conferences, press release, and also newspapers. And how the inputs from the training from the DGB has actually helped me was that the training, especially on youth empowerment, the mentoring program, it has helped me becoming a good leader, speaking up for the rights of the young workers, giving ideas particularly on the development and sustainability of the union. And what satisfied me the most is that there was an increased number of youth, especially during this pandemic, even if we are not physically be there to recruit members, but they are willingly texted us that, I want to be a member, because we believe that this is the best platform to address our issues and problems, and this union would is actually fighting for our rights as a worker. And I believe that what we can take from what I can share from this discussion is that a well-trained and organized workforce is vital in facing health crisis, especially during this pandemic. And by having a union that to voice out our concerns is very crucial, so that we could achieve a desirable solutions for both government and also the workers. And apart from that, I believe that good coordinations sharing best practices like what we did now amongst all the authorities involved must ensure to ensure the best outcomes from each of the countries, especially in the Southeast Asia and the South Asia. And the involvement of youth also is crucial. And I believe that the older generation should embrace the existence of all these young workers and all these female women, and give them space and the opportunity to develop and guide them, because the future of the trade unions actually depends on the young workers and the women. So despite all of these challenges, the essential elements of a conducive working environment is to have a management and supervisory heads that show empathy towards their subordinates. And I believe that it is time for us to work together despite all shortcomings, which we hope we will see improvements in the days to come. So I think that's all from me, and I would like to share screens to show you a few victories and successes that we did in Malaysia.
Sure, Brother Melvin, I have made you the presenter. Me? Really? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yes.
already made you the presenter. So I am sure that you can share
yes,
your
okay.
screen now.
Okay, so I am sharing you so these are all the news, resolving the payments for the frontliners, give attention to healthcare workers, the posters that I mentioned earlier, and also our main concern on the 12-hour shift. These are some of the interviews that we conducted also in the online news. And a response from the minister of our issues that we highlight. And some videos to show. Just a conclusion. So I think that's about it. So thank you.
Thank you once again, Brother Melvin, for sharing a very interactive contents with us. If you don't mind, you can also send me those success stories that you've been collected, so that we can share to many other people. Okay, next maybe we can hear from Sister Intan to answer Sister Anna's question. Please, Sister Intan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dinda, and thank you for your question, Sister Anna. Yeah, your question always be attractive and interesting to answer as always. And my answer for your question, the first question is, I would like to use a developer leadership style. Why? Because the developer leadership style is we have a commitment to increasing the capacity of our members. So this commitment will be increasing our member capacity and skill, and also the caderization will be good to be applied, because we know that the great leader is someone who are able to make a to create a new greatest leader. So I think it's my answer for you. And the second one is the consistent and also a consequent with the risk that we know as a TU leaders that also because of my in my personality as because a woman leader. You know that in Indonesia the patriarchy culture is very strong enough, so the woman also put in the just in the domestic line, and it's so still like thinking that a woman is not good enough, also a woman and youth is not good enough to be a leader. So to break that mindset, so we have to prove that we have to prove it with our result, with a real work result that I will be committed and consistent and also consequent to show that. And that's why I choose to have a developer leadership style. And the second is I want also to say thank you because the ITUCAP and the DGBBW is always have a big contribution in my career and also in my to strengthening my leadership skill and develop my capacity by any training and any mentoring and also FGD that all and that you already give to me. Thank you so much for ITCAP and also the DGBWW. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Intan. Couldn't be more agree with you that this kind of program is opening so many windows of opportunities for us to grow better. And we still have Sister Marmel to answer to what Sister Anna has been asking.
To the first question of Sister Anna, I think the I would answer a leader should be transparent, empathetic, passionate, and committed. As what Sister Rem said, one should have a commitment to become a unionist, and I think it shows because if you don't have a strong commitment as a unionist, the union will fail specifically for those who only go after the economic side of unionism of the union. So, but if you're up to the betterment of your members, you'll be committed to work continually to the union. Transparency is very important for the members to continue to be members. They should see that the union is being transparent. And of course, the union should be empathetic also to the causes of its members. For me, the style of leadership a union should have, for personally for me, would should be an inclusive style of leadership. It should not exclude those uh, who it chooses to exclude based on the personal biases of its leaders. It should be more inclusive and more entertaining to the ideas of the members who are actually exposed to the excesses and to the excesses of the management. And for me, my personal motivation initially was the values inculcated to me by my father to always treat uh the people around you better and to be kind to the people. But as I go and as I continue to work for the union, I meet people along the way who have this passion for unionism, and you're not attracted to that passion, but you're not only attracted to that passion, but you become uh more inspired by that passion that you could also bring it to your respective union. The camaraderie and the solidarity are also one of the reasons why I join a union and I organize unions. That's all, Sister Linda.
Okay, thank you so much, Sister Mel. And we still have time for another participants who would like ask a question to our panelists here.
Well, may I make a small comment?
Sure.
Yeah, I have no question. I just wanted to thank the speakers. This is not the official vote of thanks. It's just I'm really glad that you all have brought so many hopeful, inspirational narratives here. And even though this is focused on Southeast Asia, it rings true of young people in trade unions in South Asia as well, where I'm from. What really struck me, though, were two, three things. One is the issue of gender, like Sister Intan mentioned, Indonesia is a patriarchal society, like so many countries in South Asia, also supposedly in Southeast Asia. And also the issues of, single parents and areas where women predominate, like in the teaching sector. And actually, thanks to all the teachers who are present here, Sister Rem's colleagues. And also, I hear from all of you that there's such a strong sense of identity and pride in your identity as youth trade unionists. So that's really wonderful to experience that from you. And you mentioned all these qualities of leading and leaders in response to Sister Anna's questions. I mean, all these words you've used, transparency and listening and being kind, these go beyond trade unions, right? These are like our basic human values, and if they are guiding you as a leader, that's phenomenal. The last point I want to mention is when Sister Intan was showing that video, and it's very clearly anti-government policy or the new law and so on, it kind of struck me a bit, because if I tried to do that in India or any other trade unionist tried to do that in India, we would definitely be in jail today. And I think Sister Marmel actually touched on that a little bit with the anti-terrorism law in Philippines as well. So just to appreciate that we all are swimming against the tide here, and you all you're doing so well together, and it's very, very inspirational. Um, Actually, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Indira. Okay, still opening the Q&A session for the rest of the participants, because I believe many of the participants here are it can oh, okay, I see Brother Otang is opening his microphone.
Okay, you are too sensitive, Dinda. You just open it. Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for your kindly motivation and inspiration, sharing about your situations and conditions. But I'm really curious, despite a big challenge that we are facing since amid the pandemic, uh, you showing us with your presentations about your strong leadership in the field. So I'm a bit curious, actually, how do you motivate your colleagues and members in the field for not demotivations to face this kind of challenge? Especially, we have a big challenge amid the pandemic. Sometimes we have a challenge internally within the organizations. Um, how you motivate actually your members and your colleagues to keep strong, to keep active within the organization, and keep motivated to struggle to overcome this kind of challenge. So I'm eager to learn from all of you. Thank you.
Okay, Brother Otang, thank you for your question. And let's go with Brother Melvin. Can you start?
Right. So how do I motivate all the young workers? So it's actually quite a challenge, but seeing that all of the because problems, listen to their problems. Um, so actually, when we try to um, when we receive their problems and we actually discuss how to solve this and or how to bring this forward to the higher ministry. When we actually successfully done that and we the newspapers and everything, we share it again to all of our members, especially the healthcare workers. So by seeing this, so they would automatically realize that, oh, this union is actually great and they are doing their job, fighting for what is being, what are the problems that, that was one of the things that we could actually do to get them. Seeing all the problems, we tried our best to solve, to find solutions. And then the second one is that by being active, you know, during this pandemic, being active is hard because especially when you are a frontliner, because you don't really have time for a Zoom meeting. But I'm trying to be, as I mentioned, that being a role model, despite of all this pandemic, is crucial as a youth leader, because you want to prove to the other members that if you can do this, despite that you are healthcare workers and you're busy, you are doing this and that, but you still join all these virtual meeting, and you still active in promoting your union or address the issues in Facebook or in the newspaper. That would also be one that could motivate them. So I think that's all for me. I hope that I answered your questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Melvin. And let's go with Sister Marmel.
What I think one of the motivations our union is making for our members, and two other right now, because Sister Linda, I just want to inform the other panelists as well as the other participants in this afternoon, that we are coordinating with the other unions, local government unions, so we're not alone in this. So we've seen that we've worked successfully, uh, being in solidarity with other local government units. So I think the ways that we motivate our members are, first, by being visible, by being interesting, and second, by being responsive. The regulations and the guidelines provided for the workplace during this pandemic to the local government workers, the uh, the incentives given to them, those incentives, those guidelines, those regulations being implemented by the government, national government, and by the other agencies of the government were actually done by the efforts of the unions. And if not done, most of them were actually improved by the very reason that unions exist. So by letting the union members see that the unions or that their union is actually performing, they become more interested and they become more participative of the union. I think that's one of the motivations of the union, and that's one of the major focus the union should should dwell more, that they should not only safeguard the benefits and the rights of
Hello.
in general, the rights of the workers in general when it comes to representation to the higher body. That's all, Sister Linda.
Okay, Sister Marmel, I think we kind of lost a little bit of the last part of your explanations.
Sister Linda, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, now I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, sister. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
as I told earlier, Sister Linda, that that the focus of the unions should not only yes, okay. That the focus of the union should not only be on the preserving of the members of the union by giving them and by securing them within. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sister, we can hear you.
Sister Linda, can you hear me now?
Yes, sister.
Hello,
Yes.
now, sister. Yes, I was saying that the unions should not only focus on preservation of the union members. Yeah, I relate that the union should actually be in solidarity with each other in order to represent members of their respective unions to their body. So I think that's one of the major motivations of the members of the union to stay in the union if they see that they are well represented and that the union officers as well as the union is very receptive on their call. So as what I mentioned earlier, sister, there are guidelines and policies by the government which was which were pushed through by the because of the efforts of the unions, and there are guidelines and there are regulations which were improved because of the efforts of the respective unions asking for the improvement, not only for the safety and for the well-being of the workers right now during this pandemic, but also for the grant of incentives, for example, and how to treat the leave of those who were infected by by the COVID-19. So I think those those were the motivations of the members, and those were the acts which could actually by union which could actually motivate their members to stay in the union. Thank you,
Okay.
sister.
Thank you, Sister Marmel, for your answer. Now I will move on to Sister Intan to answer Brother Otang's question. Sister, I think you are still on mute. Hello, Sister Intan. Can you hear me? Ke-mute nggak sih? I think you are still on mute. Itu suara apa ya? Hello?
I think she is free.
Yeah, I think she's having trouble with the connection. Rainy season in Indonesia. Here we go. Okay, again, maybe
Hello?
yeah, we got you now.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Sorry because a little bit trouble in here. Yeah. Thank you, Sister Linda and Brother Otang. Nice to meet you again. Yeah. For answer your question, how to motivate, maybe the one that I use, the method that I use is I pull the red thread in our members to about the issue, and also we said that it is our fight, it's our war. So if we are not to fight together, how to we can win this war? So we fight together and we win together. And last but not least is one of the method that we made or we create is we have a story of hope like this. We share our story each other. We sharing in a little or small discussion, but it will be more effectively to our member, because some of the members still want to see how the leader, how to the leader respect their story or listening their story. So it will be more effective when we have a small discussion, and also we motivate in a small teams, but the small teams will be spread in a huge or in will multiply the method. So it will be more work to have that. And I will show you the video that I always I will tell it earlier. Maybe Sister Dinda can make me a presenter so I can share the video, please. Hmm. So, sorry. Ew. Wait, please. This video takes 3 minutes, so please enjoy the video. Can you see the video?
Yes, sister.
Yes.
But I think it's lacking, right?
Yeah.
We can't hear it.
Yeah, we cannot hear the sound.
But she is connected on headphones, no? That's why I think.
Okay, that's the video. Okay, how to close this? Okay, this one. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, sister. Hello,
Hello? Yes,
can you hear me?
yes,
Hello. Yes.
yes, Sir Intan.
Yeah. Oh. That's the video. Yep, the video. I don't know. Can you hear the voice or not? Because in
Unfortunately,
here the voice is clear enough. But oh,
yes,
yeah.
but nevertheless, we can
But the
still
video
share it
was
again.
made in Bahasa.
Mhm. Yeah. Hello, Sister Intan?
Yeah, the video was made in Bahasa. But yeah. Hello, hello.
Yeah. Hmm. Hello?
Yeah. Is the video was clear that that I was played before? Is it?
Unfortunately, we cannot hear the voice, but although we can still reshare it again when tomorrow after the recording are ready, and then we can also share it to the rest of the participants so that they can hear it with the voice through the link that
Okay,
maybe I
okay.
will add later. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Although this was made in Bahasa, they already recorded in Bahasa, but I always put the trench in English. But I hope you can enjoy the video. So that was I was made to keep motivate our members, and also that was I was say that it was made by Women and Youth Committee. Thank you, Sister Dinda and Brother Otang. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sister Intan. I noticed that we have a really limited time now, that maybe the last answer will be provided by Sister Rem.
Yes, thank you, Sis Dinda. I think they have already told us a lot of different ways of motivating our members and other colleagues to become members as well. But I would like to highlight also that regular meetings, discussions, which are open to all members is also important. We regularly do that. If we cannot do it bi-weekly, we try to do it twice in a month for follow-up so that we could also know what's happening to our members. And as part of our needs assessment also, on how can we more effectively and efficiently respond to their needs, because different sectors have different needs. And secondly, um, by sharing some of these activities as well, and if there are a lot of activities, we try to provide more opportunities to others who have not yet attended the same activity, so that everybody would be able to re-echo it at their local union level. Um, it's also, I also asked the same question in one of our collective bargaining social dialogue webinar, because it's really hard and very challenging to motivate the youth, especially the women, because we have a lot of responsibilities at work and at home. So one of in the discussion, I found out that the struggle, let's say for example, the struggle in making having the successes in our trade union would not be possible without the history, the her story, the struggles that we put into. Let's say for example, the mental health law in the Philippines, which has been in the Congress for for decades, that we are enjoying. We have to let our colleagues or other members know that the struggle is real. But with the struggle comes our successes. So it's very important. And also, it's I'm also I don't know the right term, because I have the opportunity to talk to students, especially in my career orientation, and I'm also part of the curriculum development. So one of our goal is to include the information about sustainable development goals, human rights and workers' rights, and about trade union in the career orientation, in the on the job placement orientation, that aside from sexual harassment, gender-based violence, the students will be informed of their rights as workers after they graduated. And so with that, but these are also this will only be possible if we also take care of ourselves. When I started joining union, trade unionists are also very tired, and it has been my advocate also, as with Brother Melvin, to insert the mental health of our workers, which is very important. If we do self-care, and then we are motivated, and then we will be able to inspire and give hope to others as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sister Ram, for your answer. It's really wonderful. And I see that we have reached the end of the time for our discussion today. I didn't notice that someone is opening up their microphone. So maybe I will try to give the honor to give a quick wrap up for the session and give the floor to Sister Anna to maybe give us some wrap up for today's session, because before we officially ended this discussion.
Thank you, Indira, for volunteering me to take this role. I would not be able to capture everything, but what I want to say are those things that really stood out for me. It was really overwhelming to listen to all of you. Um, in fact, I wanted to write something on the chat box, but apparently the chat box is disabled, because it's just so inspiring hearing many things from you despite all the challenges, personal, family, union, national, everything else put together, and you still were able to do a lot of things. But what I'm getting from the conversation so far is, and this is something that we always tell ourselves and encourage ourselves in our team in the IGCAP DGB project, is we feel that this project, this building women in leadership in the trade union movement, was really made for COVID-19. We didn't expect that we would be able to deliver a lot more, even though there are so many challenges. In fact, we kept saying ourselves, nothing, really nothing would stop these young people from doing what they do best. And we're always inspired by their energy, their creativity, and they've given you so much examples and so much to build on, and inspiration for us adults to learn from their experiences. Also, another thing that stood out for me was these young people. They're slaying. Okay, maybe I could not think about a word, but really they're so amazing in playing different roles. It's even it's beyond in the union, it's beyond in the company. They're also playing different roles in the community. Like for example, what Ram was saying, talking to the parents and students. That's example of taking the extra mile. They're not required to do that, but I feel that they had to because they feel that they needed to do more, and that's so amazing. We understand that we cannot change the world as an individual alone, and there's so much, and working with others, just like Melvin kept saying, and even Marmel kept saying that when we work with other people, with other sectors like mother organizations, we can do a lot more in making the world a better place for everyone, although everyone kept saying that. But from the examples that you're saying, it gives a better meaning to when you say, how do you make a better place for everyone? And what you have done at different levels is exactly that, contributing to making a better place for everyone. I'm very inspired with the energy, the creativity. I mean, come on, you kept saying that you understand what needed to be done, but there's so many limitations, and yet you still continue to do that, preparing all these materials so that you'd be able to convey these messages to as many people as possible. Thinking of different ways of connecting and maintaining that connection with your members is so important, particularly these days, this difficult period of COVID-19, maintaining the mental health of every one of us. It's so important, and you were able to find solutions to keeping that. I'm also inspired by the stories of the increase in membership, and it's only not in Southeast Asia. We're also hearing examples of this in other countries because of the COVID-19. It provided the unions the opportunity to shine, and to show that more than ever unions are needed in this trying time. So we have seen examples of increased union membership in other countries as well. But I also recognize that behind all these successes, your personal successes, there are always people who continue to support and inspire you to step up, to push you along in your leadership journey. And I think it's very important to celebrate and recognize them, because later on you would be like them. You would be the ones supporting other people to in the leadership journey. I'm also very inspired by so many stories about gender-based violence, because this is something that I'm personally very passionate about. And since we have a big campaign running on ratification of C-190, it's so encouraging to hear, and we heard you loud and clear that you wanted to do a lot more. You wanted to have more progress on gender-based violence, and this is something that ITUC would continue to support. In fact, I've been so overwhelmed with C-190 related webinars these days because we precisely wanted to do so much progress. And lastly, I think the future is bright. It's gonna be bright, it's gonna be positive, and going to be absolutely beautiful, because we have you. You are the ones who would shape that, who would influence the development of that future. We cannot wait to have more similar initiatives in the future, maybe along organizing women and young people, because you inspires us, ITUC to do more, and hopefully we would expand in other sub-regions as well in the future. So I think that's it for me, Dinda.
Okay, Sister Anna, thank you so much. It's really, really inspiring and really, really nice to hear those words coming out from you. I believe that I don't have many things to say, because it almost feels like I'm attending a motivational discussion session, because I get so inspired. My heart is really warm right now, just hearing what your inspirations, your experience, and your stories. It's really wonderful. But if I may say some words of takeouts from this discussion, is that by opening our mind, opening our heart, and opening our will, we listen and we relearn that from that we can always grow together. As also mentioned by Sister Rem earlier, it's okay if we begin with a small step at a time, even to stop for a little while, as long as we are not giving up. because only when we unite we can conquer the world. Once again, thank you very much, everyone, for your kind participations. I want to express a very thankful time also for all the panelists who are here with us today. I hope this is not the last time that we can be in this one discussion. We hope to see you more often in the next of the activities as well. And on behalf of the Trade Union Rights Center, I once again want to thank you very much for your participation. And I hope you have a really, really great closing for the 2020. And we sure that we will have a wonderful 2021. Fingers crossed. And maybe to end the discussion, we should have a group photo because I believe this is a very rare moment that we should document really well. So if I might ask participants to turn on their webcam. Aha. See, I already see so many bright future here. All right. Okay, counting to 5 and waiting for the others to. Yep. Okay, please. Hi, brother Puru. I see you there. Okay, biggest smile, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. One more time, okay? Inspired by Tanya from the last workshop from the DGB, how about we do a pose? So when we expressing ourselves facing the very bright future that we will have in 2021, okay? Please give your best expression, everyone. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much once again, everyone, for your kind participation. I wish to see you again in a very happy and healthy condition in the next event of the DGBBW Germany and from TURC as well. Once again, thank you. Take care, stay healthy, and see you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you all. See you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.